Thank you very much, Miles, and thank you all so much for being here. At Demos, we believe that America represents a profound and unfinished experiment in democracy. To forge a truly multiracial, multi-origin citizenry and afford everyone an equal say. But with 51 million eligible citizens unregistered, racially targeted voter suppression, and an electorate that is unrepresentative of our citizenry by race, age, and class, we are not quite yet the world's greatest democracy, not by a long shot. That's why we believe that our nation's highest challenge is to create a democracy that truly empowers all of the people, regardless of race or privilege. And Demos has worked, along with our allies and partners, to tear down the voter registration red tape that shuts out too many Americans and lift up the reforms that would bring everybody in. And that's why we are so proud to have worked with our first honoree, Rashad Robinson and Color of Change. Color of Change is the nation's largest online Black political organization with nearly 1 million members, and their mission is simply to help change the color of democracy. I love that. But what I love most about Rashad and Color of Change is that they know how to win. I don't think that you all really know how many notches that Rashad and Color of Change, I feel like they have this stick in their office where they just rack up these victories. I want to tick through just a few of them. It's really been incredible. I know that you all know the story of what happened last year with the American Legislative Exchange Council. After decades of progressives bemoaning the power of ALEC, it's this shadowy network of state legislators who basically introduce right-wing bills in exchange for lobbyist and corporate cash. But it was Rashad and Color of Change who quietly spearheaded last year's astonishing victory. They channeled the Black community's outrage over ALEC's voter ID and kill at will laws. And they negotiated, cajoled, finally got 50 major corporations to leave ALEC, from Verizon to Coca-Cola, Kraft, and Walmart. When an anonymous family foundation erected billboards in predominantly Black and Latino neighborhoods aimed at intimidating voters just days before the 2012 election, Color of Change sprang into action, got nearly 1,000 signatures virtually overnight, and demanded that Clear Channel take them down. And like Demos, Color of Change believes that democracy extends beyond the voting booth to a voice on the job and a real chance to succeed. So that's why they use their megaphone and membership to spread the word that Black workers simply cannot afford the low wages at Walmart, which is the largest private employer of African Americans in the country. More than 60,000 members took action in solidarity with the Black Friday strikes, and they are doing so again as we speak, as Walmart workers have just launched, just days ago, the first prolonged strikes in their history. Meanwhile, they also got the show Cops off the air recently. And Rashad has only been at Color of Change for 2 years. Just imagine what he, his team, and the nearly 1 million members will do next. Please join me in celebrating Rashad and Color of Change for their winning work to transform America.
Wow, thank you. Heather, my sister and friend, I so value our partnership and what we've been building, and I hope you know that you're stuck with me. We're going to be in this for years, and I look forward to all of the work that we'll do together. I want to say a special congratulations to my friend Mary Kay Henry and Gregory Reynoso and the fearless members of SCIU who stand shoulder to shoulder with Color of Change on everything from fighting unjust policing to a pathway to citizenship for immigrants to standing up and fighting voter intimidation. Thank you for your partnership and your support. To Amy Poehler, whose funny and sharp progressive work reaches millions and has given popular voice to working class folks, and my friends fighting fair elections in New York, and Arnie Miller, it's an honor to share tonight with you. You know, this all feels really surreal, not just because I'm standing on a box to see over the podium, but it feels surreal because I remember a little over 10 years ago, I attended my first Demos event. It was a conference in Atlanta focused on restoring the rights to people with felony convictions. I was in my real early 30s. I had long dreadlocks down my back, which I was proud of and secretly hoped that they would sort of take away from the baby face and make me look a little older. I had a lot of opinions, a lot of passion, and tons of curiosity. I was the field director at Fair Vote, a Beltway advocacy group that works on electoral reform. I'm sure that many of you may recognize that young guy from back then. I know my former boss, the ED of Fair Vote, who I think I heard back there, who gave me a chance all those years ago. What I also remember about this conference was also the warm and gracious leadership of Miles Rappaport, who took the time to go around and greet everyone, regardless of the title on their business card, and the collaborative spirit of the conference and strategic focus of the effort. I've cut off the hair, but what remains is a deep respect for this organization and its work fighting to reshape the experience of living in this country for the vast majority of us. An experience that sits at the intersection of the choices we make about our democracy and our economy, and an experience that remains deeply unjust. I also continue to have deep respect for Miles, who is one of the most thoughtful, collaborative, and gracious leaders in this work. So May 1st marked my 2-year anniversary as executive director, and I couldn't be more proud of this amazing organization. Many of the staff, the talented staff of Color of Change are here, including Matt and Arisha, who helped me keep the trains running and guide our course, as well as some of our board, led by our co-founder, James Rucker, whose brilliance, confidence, and generosity made Color of Change possible. Thank you, James, for being a friend and partner in this work, and your family for always being so warm, open, and committed. I also see our other co-founder, Van Jones, here. Thank you for your leadership and for always making those phone calls and giving us advice about our campaign work. Every day at Color of Change, we hear the stories of those who want to be heard and counted. By raising the voices and the stories of our membership of over 850,000 Black folks and their allies of every race, we work to make government and corporations more accountable. And in the process, we make our democracy and our economy fairer, more open, and just. We channel that fight back spirit you see from all oppressed groups, fighting to open up new and necessary opportunities, and also protect the opportunities we've already earned and won. We do this because we believe in a simple and fundamental truth. When oppressed people win, they win for everyone. The legislative, legal, and cultural victories of the civil rights movement, immigrant rights movement, feminist and gay rights movements don't just open up opportunities for the oppressed groups leading those movements, they empower all of us. Victory for women's rights don't just open up opportunities for little girls to have bigger dreams, but they give permission for little boys to be their best selves as well. And for us at Color of Change, that is what this is all about. Fighting the fights that open up opportunities and make our country work for all of us. We must understand this principle if we're going to stand up to everything that's in our way. So almost 2 years ago, as we began looking closely at those narrowly tailored voter ID laws popping up and began campaign planning, we looked for a theory of change. We talked to many of you in the room and what we could do to turn the tide. As we researched and planned, we quickly realized that with few exceptions, these laws moved through Tea Party legislators with leaders who had no interest in listening to a Black advocacy organization. But it didn't stop us, because in the process of all the research, it pointed to this shadowy organization, ALEC, the 40-year-old institution responsible for pushing state laws through state houses for years, that advanced the type of greed, immorality, and injustice that develops when the only metric of success is money and corporate power. Many fantastic groups, many of our friends had done work to combat ALEC, including research that proved critical to our effort. Our major strategic insight came from the research and the fact that 98% of ALEC's money came from corporations. Businesses that every day came to Black folks and say, buy our products or use our services, and then they were going out and supporting disenfranchisement through ALEC's agenda. We began reaching out in the fall of 2011 with letters and numerous behind-the-scenes calls, meeting with corporations. The corporations would say things like, you know, we support both sides. We give a little money to the left, and we give a little money to the right. And we would say, thank you, but there aren't two sides to Black people voting. When we finally escalated the campaign and went public, we gave our initial targets 48 hours to respond, giving them a preview of what a public campaign would look like with a not yet public website, and by sharing the first tactic, which was our members making calls and engaging the media. The first public target was Coke, and they called us within 5 hours of our members calling them to say that they were leaving ALEC. Over the course of the next several weeks and months, our members kept the heat up with our partners, making phone calls, showing up to shareholders meetings, donating money so that we could launch radio ads. Today, nearly 40 corporations have left ALEC. They've put their DC swanky offices up for rent. They've disbanded their committees working on elections and guns. And in the process, the voices of Black folks and their allies were able to fight back and win, not just for Black folks, but for all of us in this room. So our work here on this campaign and others is successful because we leverage solid campaign-oriented research, which allows us to uncover actionable strategic insights that can build upon campaigns, oftentimes from partners like Demos, an organization that's always looking ahead to making real change and whose research has supported our efforts on behalf of low-wage workers. We've also been successful because we tell compelling stories in the media. And most of all, because we empower and amplify the voice of our community, of everyday people who want both our democracy and our economy to work. Empowered membership truly matters. The more we match this generation of creative, strategic research, insights, and ideas that organizations like Demos excel at, to the creative and strategic listening, member learning, and activism that drive technologically savvy organizations like ColorOfChange, the more we can sit here tonight and celebrate what's to come, even in the face of a long road ahead. And finally, I want to say a little bit about what this work is all really about. And it's about love. For each of us, for ourselves, and the privilege to live in a country where we have the opportunity to stand up and make a difference. You know, my parents are here tonight, and they taught me a little bit about love. In fact, everything about love. It's their love that gave me the pride to love my Blackness and the strength and courage to love my gayness. And to all of you, my friends, my community, my activists, my teachers, heroes, the donors to ColorOfChange, and our board members, your love, support, encouragement, and critique has made us all stronger and smarter. Thank you, and thank you, Demos, so much for this amazing night.